All right, guys, I have a great one here today. We're talking about mass immigration from India to Canada, some different attitudes, different clips. These two girls are young twins from Kenya. They do a really good job putting together a few clips about Indians in Canada. I just got to share them with you, discuss. They're really interesting. So let's take a look at a couple of these.
Nations the most hated in Canada, and this is my honest opinion. There's a reason the South Asian community, particularly us Indians, often get side-eyed in Canada while other immigrant groups they quietly integrate, build lives, and create opportunities. We seem to thrive on chaos. Why? First, entitlement. Somewhere along the way, we forgot that moving to Canada was a privilege, not a right. Instead of adapting, we impose our culture, our noise, our ways. It's one thing to celebrate Diwali, it's another to turn residential streets into a rave, completely with firecrackers and traffic jams. When people call us out, we play the victim. They don't understand our culture. But maybe we are the ones who don't understand the value of blending in respectfully. Then there's our obsession with shortcuts. Fake marriages, fraudulent job offers, under the table work. It's no secret. Instead of playing the long game like other communities, we want instant success, even if it means bending every rule. And guess what? That doesn't just reflect poorly on the guilty, it tarnishes everyone, the whole Asian communities who's here to build a life. And the infighting, oh, it's unmatched, man. While other communities focus on lifting each other up, we seem to be determined to tear each other down. Gossiping, backstabbing, case politics. We have imported all of it here. Instead of building a united front, we are busy dividing ourselves, making us weaker and easier to target. So why are we hated? Maybe it's because we refuse to take responsibility. We are loud, unapologetic, and often disrespected of the very system that gave us a chance. And when the backlash comes, we scream racism added that absolves any of the wrongfulness. But here's the truth. Canada owes us nothing. We came here for a better life and we've been given opportunities many can only dream of. It's time to stop acting like the world owes us, to stop creating problems where none exist, and to start respecting this country and ourselves. We have so much potential. Let's stop being the problem and start being part of the solution.
This guy's, I mean, that was beautiful. That was almost like an MLK level speech. I mean, seriously, or like a JFK, like ask not what you can do for uh ask what you can do for your country or whatever that is. But that was like a beautiful speech. Now, okay, now I have to contrast that with this other guy here. You won't even believe this. Now that guy clearly is Indian. He's not native though, right? So he could figure this out. He could figure out like to say that. Now watch this guy who's more native and contrast the two. Unbelievable.
Share this video.
Not
Spread this message around.
Okay, someone please explain to me why no one in Canada hates Indian immigrants more than Indian immigrants. I'm back in Canada after a year, and I guess there's been a big influx of Indian immigrants, and because of that, there's been a lot of like racism now towards them. Like you could literally open up any 6 Plus article, even if it's not related to the students or immigrants. It could be like Gardner Expressway flooding because of rain, and for some reason, the top 10 comments are like, it's because of the Indians. But always mixed in with those white racist comments are Indian racist comments. What's up with that? At first, I thought it was just one post, but I started seeing a trend, and it's so funny. Like, it's all the same. There's this comment underneath a video of like 6 dancing at Young and Dundas, all problems with Canada in one video. Brother, your name is Varun Sharma. And I've spoken to a couple as well. They'd be like, oh.
I just have to. I mean, this guy's reacting basically to the guy who was clearly born in India. He has the accent. This guy either came to Canada when he was young. He sounds pretty like native Canadian to me, or close enough. And he can't figure it out. He's like, why are the new immigrants like the other guy? How could they possibly be against anything that other immigrants do? He can't figure it out. He said, somebody explain it to me. The other guy just explained it perfectly. But this guy's like, he can't figure it out. He can't figure it out at all. But let me try to give an analogy. Imagine if there's some like retirement spot in a Caribbean island where only sort of rich baby boomers go, and it's a quiet beach, and they have just a certain way about it where it's like the local community and then sort of wealthy retirement people, and that's what it's known for. There's certain areas like this all over the world, but whatever. You can imagine this. And then imagine a bunch of other white, young, kind of rave party guys go and they start going to that same spot They're on the beach. They're partying late at night. Beer bottles are broken on the beach, and it's the same race, same culture. He's saying, I can't figure out how like a guy named John Smith could complain about Kevin Stevens because they're both white, even though John Smith is like a retired baby boomer who wants a quiet life on the beach. And he can't understand why someone from the same race, same culture could go there and mess it up. This guy can't figure it out. He's like, wait, you have an Indian name. Why do you have a problem with like dancing all over the streets and like stopping traffic and like being out of control? Not that dancing's the biggest problem, but he's like scratching his head literally, like he just can't figure it out. But these two later, I'll show you they can.
Bro, these guys are ruining our reputation, man. We have built for 20 years and now they are just coming and ruining it. And because of this, it's becoming a feedback loop. The other day I was talking to one dude and he's like, yeah, bro, these immigrants are getting out of control. He had been in the country for 8 months.
So he figured it out in 8 months. Good for him.
The only piece of advice I have to give to people like that, siding with the wolves will not save you when it's time to get eaten.
No, that's a bad analogy. I mean, that's true with wolves, but people like me are not wolves. I respect so much somebody who comes here from a different place and says their honest feelings, tries to make here a better country, tries to adapt, fit in. They can bring, some of the good parts of their culture, but they're like, this is how Canada is. We want to fit in. We want to make it a better place. You're more than welcome. Why would I want to be a wolf and get rid of that type of person? Like I said, I've lived abroad. I know a bunch of people from all over the world, and that's just not my mentality. And it's not the people I know. It's not most people. They just want a high level Canada, period, with no excuses. So this guy thinks he nailed it, and he whiffed. Like he whiffed big time on it. I can't. It's just pathetic. All right, now I got to go to these girls here, and they're really good. Let me just see when they start talking. Check it out. So they're from Kenya. I'll get rid of this. I got to upgrade to premium soon, which I will. Hang on, guys. Hang on.
That yes to credit
when
from
you can't
Capital
skip
One
these
allowed me to regrow
Hang
my
on.
credit strength.
All right, now listen
What
to
do you think
them.
about the clips we just played you, yeah? I feel like for the most part of it, whatever little I've
So check it out. I don't think that they're very young. They're very nice. I don't think they've ever been to Canada, but they're in Kenya just talking about world politics, what they see in the news. Okay, let's see if they can figure it out.
manage to watch, I feel like I would also be annoyed. Like, if immigrants are coming into your country, the least you can expect them to do is respect your culture and abide by the laws they find in that said country, yeah? And if they want to practice their culture, it shouldn't be at the convenience of other people's time or noise pollution, because from what we've gotten and what we usually see on online, some Indians, not all of them, but some Indians can be inconsiderate of other people's presence, especially when they're celebrating their own holidays. Right, we like accusing Westerners of, let's say, white people or Black Americans. People like to be very vocal about how if they go to their country, they need to be this and that. We've seen Europeans complain about Americans and how Americans need to act. The saying they normally say, if you go to Rome, do as the Romans do, right? Even here in Africa, we've seen a few Africans who complain of foreigners who go to their countries and cause chaos. Just the other day, we saw in Mexico how Mexicans were complaining that when an American went there, they tried to call the police on Mexicans because Mexicans were doing their own Mexican thing, So right. This is the time where what you said, when you go to Rome, do as the Romans do, applies. Because if all of us expect when foreigners come to each and every one of their country, of our country, to be considerate of our culture and of our time and of the noise they come with, why should Canadians be called racist? Of course, I'm not denying that there is racism in Canada. Yeah, there is racism in Canada, and the events that lead up to racism also occur. But in between us accusing Canadians of being racist, let's not get lost in the noise of a few Indians also got there and misbehaved there. Right, and
Like, imagine this on CBC or even better in the House of Commons if these two you can't accuse them of being racist. just stood up as teens who haven't even been here and can figure it out better than like most of our politicians. And they said that. And they even said, yeah, of course there's some racism, which isn't good. But they just spelled it out exactly how it is just by watching the videos. And I live here, by the way. So it's not like I'm just seeing what's online and that's all I can figure out. I see the reality of living here. So they're just able to spell it out perfectly as teens and just like call it as it is without being over the top and saying, hey, no matter where you go, all over the world, to anybody's country, you fit in, you behave, you follow the rules, you follow the culture, and like just be a normal person, no noise pollution, she said, a whole bit. And like if we just took them into Canada, plopped both of them into like a government position here, they would do better than most of the liberals, certainly the NDP right now. Just just in terms of like that attitude, that mentality. They're able to figure it out and they don't see everything through a race lens, even though they're very dark, they're pretty. It's got dark, I'm not saying it's a negative thing, just like it's true. Like people could be against them, but they don't feel it. They don't feel that they are. They're just calling the balls and strikes as they see it. Um, so let's listen to a little bit more, but I'm going to put the link to this, but they're incredible.
I was watching a video where an Indian was talking about the older generations that migrated into Canada, the ones who built a life for themselves there and how they respected the culture that they found there. And they weren't necessarily being a nuisance to the community. And at the same time, they were practicing their own culture, but without being with a nuisance. Yeah, versus the new group of immigrants that are going with all the entitlement without being considerate and are expecting that Canadians just embrace them. You forget that people come from different backgrounds, people come from different cultures, and as especially practices, people's practices are very different. Much as you might appreciate people dancing on streets, blasting music during weddings, Canadians are practicing a very different thing. Like under that video in the comment section where they were having that loud music at night and people are trying to sleep, I saw some Canadians say, in Canada, that is why people hire halls, things like halls, so that they can go into a noise controlled environment so that they don't disturb the community, So I do understand where the anger is coming from Canadians. I do understand.
Okay, so I'll put the rest of the video. I'll stop it here, but I mean the two of them at that age in Kenya can figure it out, and a lot of people apparently cannot figure it out. Okay, they got it on both sides right. They're not hating everybody. They're just calling it like it is. Unbelievable. Love to hear your comments. Share it, like it, whatever. Thanks for all the comments, all the support, and we will see you in the next video.